everyone, and welcome to Tiger on the Block, the only podcast that takes collegiate a cappella members and makes them really uncomfortable for 30 minutes. I'm Tony like the tiger, Voss like the water.
And I'm Jessica Block, and in the famous words of Billie Eilish, I'm the bad guy.
Duh.
No, seriously, I'm downright sinister.
Jessica, you're literally hugging a stuffed animal as we speak.
A teddy bear of doom.
Now she's nursing a baby bird back to health?
It's an albatross of death, Tony.
No, it's a pigeon.
He's a pigeon. His name is Jorge. But that's not the point, because I'm evil.
Well, that's strangely fitting, actually, because who do we have in the studio today?
We have Deviant Voices from UCLA.
Since their founding in 2010, Deviant Voices have been sharing their passion for music, both on campus and off, performing at concerts and events for the UCLA community, including this year's Beat SC Bonfire and Acapalooza.
They always try to do things a little bit different, and most importantly, they always have fun.
We got two deviants with us in the studio today. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you are and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Jet. I'm one of our social chairs, and I'm a senior. I'm a tenor. I'm from Chicago, and I forget what else you wanted me to say.
That's perfect. That's exactly the information we needed.
Perfect.
My name is Tattnall Holt. I'm a rising junior from New York City. I'm a baritone, and this is my third year in Deviant Voices. And yeah, super excited to be on the show.
Awesome. We're excited to have you.
Great
guys.
to have you.
Oh, jinx. Well, anyway, our first question for you guys is something we ask everybody who comes on this podcast because it's so interesting and different from person to person that we always just want to know how you got here. So with that being said, how did you get into music and a cappella? Like music just in general, or if a cappella is your first experience with it, a cappella, or both. Up to you. What's your story? Go for it.
So I joined choir when I was in third grade, my local church choir. And I was in that until I graduated middle school. I know, big graduation. And then I did a cappella and musical theater and choir and gospel choir all throughout high school. And so, in college I'm a bit more busy, but I still need some music in my life, and Deviant Voices is the perfect outlet.
Awesome.
Tattnall, I knew we were meant to be. That's my exact same story. I joined choir in third grade, and from there I continued in that. I also did band starting in fourth grade through middle school. I played the clarinet. In middle school, I started doing musical theater. In high school, I continued with musical theater and choir, and I also joined show choir. And then when I graduated, I'm currently pre-med, so like Tattnall, I'm also very busy, but I still need music. So I was very interested in a cappella, and I found Deviant, and that's where I've been since.
That's awesome. It's so cool that you guys both started in third grade. That's like...
Yeah, good story. I did not know that about Tattnall.
Jet and I keep finding more similarities between the two of us as we go along.
Same person.
That's amazing.
You guys finish each other's
Sandwiches. He was thinking.
That's what he was
going
going to say.
I saw it. That's what he was going to say, for sure.
We're all just going to start singing Frozen now. I would not be against
We
that.
can't. I mean, Disney might sue us. Copyright.
Disney might. Okay, sorry, Disney.
Sorry, Disney. Well, great. Perfect, concise answers. We love a good backstory. And it's good that we got a matching pair. Now that we've kind of talked a little bit about how you guys got into music and a cappella, I wonder if you guys can talk about why you specifically chose DVAC and what makes you Deviant.
That's a good question. I joined Deviant Voices at the end of my sophomore year, so like a little over a year ago. I was actually invited by my friend Jenna, our former president, to audition. So I auditioned in the springtime.
Love her.
Yeah, I auditioned in the springtime, and they invited me to join their group. And I think one thing that makes me Deviant, I prefer seltzer water over regular water any day of the week, and I'll die on that hill.
Wild.
Whoa.
That's pretty deviant in my book.
Is that some passion fruit LaCroix right there?
It's actually pastèque, which is French for watermelon. It's a new flavor.
Whoa!
Whoa.
I've never seen that one.
We are not
That's pretty
sponsored by
exciting.
LaCroix, but if LaCroix would like to reach out, you heard it here first.
We
I'd
won't
come
say
back
no.
every week. I would come back every week if LaCroix sponsored you guys.
LaCroix, please, we need...
So I found Deviant Voices because, well, actually, one of my good friends in ROTC was also in the group, and he told me to come audition when I told him that I was interested. And so came out, really liked the vibe because it wasn't, everybody was very different, studying all sorts of different things, but at the same time, it was a group of people who, might not have ICCA, like super time-intensive competitive a cappella to fit in their schedules. Everybody was serious about music and really talented and kind of wanted to practice their craft even if they didn't have 12 hours a week to do it. And so I found that the 2 hour long practice sessions are kind of exactly what I was looking for. We put on a concert at the end of every quarter, so we work hard and we strive to a goal, but at the same time it's not life or death. Like if I have a midterm coming up and I have to miss a practice, you're like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Just, review the material outside. So I kind of found that the not music focused in their college career, but very serious about music and wanting to have a, small kind of cutout time where they can just really go hard and practice their craft, that really appealed to me. And so that's why I started
Awesome.
it.
Do you guys know, just out of curiosity, why the group's called Deviant Voices? Because I've always wondered that, just being at UCLA.
Do you know Tattnall?
So the reason why it's called Deviant Voices is because everybody, the people who were starting it, they didn't feel like they necessarily fit the vibe or flow of any one a cappella group in particular. And also they were very different, kind of very broadly interested like we are now. It's not, 90% music majors or TFT or anything. And so I think it was just kind of a rebellious group of people who wanted to try something and see if it could stick. And they didn't really know where else to, that they wanted to join that kind of fit all the requirements they were looking for. And so they decided to be deviant and break the mold and start the group themselves.
Huh.
Such
so
a
cool.
metal name.
Yeah.
And what makes you deviant, my friend?
Well, it looks like Jet and I have found the thing that we are opposites in, because what makes me deviant is that, contrary to popular opinion, I think that all sparkling waters like White Claw, LaCroix, Perrier, seltzer, I think they're horrible. I think that people drink them because, I think it's a little classier, but I think that, they are unpleasant to consume and that, there's just no reason to.
Well, this was a really lovely time, you guys. I'm going to head out.
We have our first scandal here on Tiger on the
But
Block.
nice knowing you, Jet.
You'll be receiving a call from me later today.
Oh,
one
no.
time-
Add it to the hate mail folder.
Oh,
The one
man.
time being on Zoom, I think, probably works because hands would have been thrown.
Yeah, you can see him at least half smiling. It's a fake smile.
Maybe it's just my manifestation of the frustration I'm feeling. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, it's cool that your guys' group is formed just on this idea of if you don't necessarily feel like you fit the vibe of an a cappella group that's competitive, or an a cappella group that that kind of just does it purely for fun, and that you're kind of in the middle where you really do care very strongly that your music is good, but also you have a lot of other things going on in your life. It's kind of a cool balance that you guys get there, because I've heard you guys sing and you're amazing. You sound really fantastic. So it's awesome that you guys have all these other interests. With that being said, do you guys have any music students in your group, or is it mostly other majors, or what do you guys do academically, I guess?
I just want to cut in before anybody says anything else. First off, Jessica, you're amazing and you sound great.
Thank you.
But I think that we have some people who are minoring in the arts, but I don't think that we actually have any current music or theater or
Majors.
yeah, concentrations, I guess, majors.
Yeah. I think there's a definite, like Tattnall said, a definite interest in music and a lot of experience there. But but nobody actually, you know, majoring and going into a career of music. But, you know, like Tattnall mentioned, and like you so nicely complimented us, like we all do like care about music, and we, you know, put in the work to make it good. And we really enjoy singing together. We really enjoy having a good time without the, you know, stress that being more competitive or more, you know, I guess active on a weekly basis. So I think we have, like you said, a good balance while still putting out, you know, a good sound. So it's a really nice middle ground to be in, and I think we found it regardless of, you know, who is who, if we have any. I'm going to start over. I think we found a nice middle ground, regardless of if we have music majors or not. And we have every type of major. Our president this year was a nursing major. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm pre-med. We have a little bit of everything, so we're out here.
Yeah, for real. We kind of already got into this just through the process of having a conversation, but I'd like to steer our little boat here towards what makes DVAC unique, and what is your like goal in the group? What is your mission statement, would you say?
We actually had like a group kind of powwow. Just we took a week where we met, like we didn't really rehearse. We met twice, just kind of like did not even icebreakers, just like really good team bonding, sharing what our goals were personal and for the group, and you know what we're really proud of in ourselves in the group, and what you think, you know, we need to work on. And do you remember like the kind of 4 or 5 word little slogan we came up with, like being kind or having fun, working hard?
Yeah. It was like work hard, be good, or like I don't know. It was. Did it have the word goofy in it?
No, it was like kind or something. Oh my god, this is so bad that we're totally blanking on this.
Right, that was a perfect. Well, regardless, I think that was like Tattnall was mentioning, we had that powwow earlier in the year because I think our group underwent a little bit of a transformation. We grew in size a lot at the very beginning of the year. And then we kind of had to kind of make a decision about where do we go from here. It seems like the group's interests as a whole have kind of veered from older members, a lot of whom have graduated and left the group. And now the vibe of the group is completely shifted. So we got together and we really just decided on where we want to be. And I think what we landed on, although I can't remember the, you know, little slogan we came up with, what we landed on was, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, having a middle ground of putting in enough work to put out a fantastic product while still having fun and really just being involved in a cappella, just to enjoy it, just to sing with one another and have a good time without the stress. School is stressful enough. The world is stressful enough. A cappella should not add to any type of stress. It should really just be a supplement to your, you know, overall enjoyment of your experience. And I think that's what we've kind of came to the consensus of, and we made plans to ensure that that would continue.
That's awesome. I love that you guys took that time to just come together and kind of like not necessarily reevaluate, but like take a vibe check, you know?
Exactly. It was a vibe check. That is a perfect term for what happened. Yeah, I think, you know, it wasn't like, you know, we needed to, never mind.
It wasn't like resolving an issue. It's just kind of like making sure you knew what you wanted to be as a group.
It was checking in with everybody and seeing where everybody is and where they want to be.
It wasn't like all right, we need to talk about this necessarily. It was very evident that we had a group that looked and felt a lot different than the previous years. And it wasn't a bad different. It was just different. Different people, different vibe. And we needed to kind of assess where we wanted to go from there. And I think we did a good job. And now we have a smaller group just because certain people had to either graduated or left for one reason or another. Our president had to stop because she's a nurse and she's so busy. So for one reason or another, we had a vibe check, and we checked our vibe in the best way possible. And now we're looking forward to getting back to school eventually, so we can rock out.
And I think another important part of that is that we were also kind of, half of the group was new and half was old, and we were still carrying on the old way. And so it wasn't just about, where we want to go. It's letting the younger, newer members have a say in what type of group do they want to be in and build and grow. So it's really just to get voices to the table that, might not have positions on exec, but are still just as valuable to the group. And one last thing, I think that I remember what the slogan was on somewhere. It was basically just be kind, have fun, and work hard. And some group of three, or there was like, have fun, be kind, and make good music. Or something along those lines.
If it wasn't that, it was very close to that.
If it wasn't that, it should be. That's what we'll call
it. We'll take it.
You guys have talked a little bit, I guess, about what your group kind of does in the sense of its vibe, in the sense of how it operates. But could you guys talk a little bit more about what your group did this year? Just like, what was your year like before quarantine and also once it started, but just what did you do this year? Also, what does your general year look like? Because you're not a non-competitive group, you have your concerts at the end of every quarter. What does it look like preparing for those? How are your rehearsals? How many songs do you do? Do you have themes? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So coming into this year, we had our fall audition cycle. We had a really great turnout, and there was so much talent. We called back a lot of people, and we made some really difficult decisions, but some really good ones. And we got a really fantastic group of kids to join our group. And it was a lot larger and a lot different, like we said, than before, but it was really, really good. And we knew from the jump that we had a really good sound going, and we were good. Yeah. So, we took advantage of that. We auditioned for the BSC Bonfire. We we were invited to Acapalooza. We involved ourselves in things that we maybe necessarily didn't involve ourselves in before. Not because of, necessarily any changes. It's just because we felt like we wanted to be heard, and these were avenues to get us heard. So we participated in both of those events. We also had our quarterly concert in the fall. Did we do one in the winter, Tattnall? Or did we not get to it? Quarantine?
Well, COVID started week 8, so or quarantine did week 8 or week 9. No, we didn't have anything in the winter.
Yeah, but, the only thing we did in the winter, we opened for Cadenza. That was the last event we did, which I think was the day they canceled classes, which, obviously a huge shock. So the year was going really well and vaguely normal. And then obviously Corona swooped in and changed everything. So we had our last event with Cadenza opening for their concert. And then once everything happened, we definitely all kind of took a step back, took a chill pill as much as we could have. Everybody went home. And then we came back and we said, all right, let's do something. So we ended up recording one of our arrangements. We recorded Accidentally in Love. So we're working on that soon. So we'll be releasing that shortly, that recording from home. And then we also just recorded another of our arrangements that we're going to use for our remote audition cycle in the fall. That's going to be more low key. And in the upcoming year, we're looking obviously to stay distant, but still stay social to whatever capacity is possible. And we're planning on coming up with some new arrangements. We arrange all of our own music with current or past members, and we're going to come up with some new challenging but fun arrangements, and we're going to record those as well. So you can look out for that.
Awesome. That's a lot of good stuff.
I think Jet pretty much hit it on the head. The only thing I'll touch on is you asked about what our kind of normal year schedule might look like. Usually our concerts have, I don't know, Jet, like 8, 9 songs, would you say? Mm-hmm. And I'd say maybe half of those, or 2/3 of those, will be new, and then we'll have some kind of old songs in our repertoire that are mixed in, either something we did 2 quarters ago, 2 years ago. For most of our concerts, or at least every fall concert, we sing Demons. Yeah, Demons by Imagine Dragons. And alumni who come to our concerts who are still in the LA area can come up and sing with us. And so, we'll always like throw some oldies but goodies in there. But then we also, like this winter, we, in the first few weeks, like started on 3 new different songs, like just trying to work on them. And so, it's a good mix, I think, between like having fun with old songs that we really like but want to change a soloist, or just a song that, is fun and we haven't done in a while, but then also have like these new, very different songs that then we kind of add on to those as well.
How do you guys go about, I was going to ask, how do you guys go about choosing the music for your group and for the different concerts? Is it, do you compilate all of them based off of like a mood or a theming? And how do you come up to the idea of like, oh, hey, this song, we should come up with an arrangement for that? How does the group kind of decide upon that, and how does it go? Where does it go from an idea to a full-on arrangement? If you can speak a little bit to it.
A wide range of songs that we perform at every concert. There's not usually a sad concert or an upbeat concert. It kind of, the energy comes and goes with the songs as we kind of want to arrange it. And then, we might like start and end strong with some of the more emotional, like beautiful songs in the middle, or fun ones at the beginning or end. That'll change. But with arranging, I know a lot of it is just, if somebody would like to arrange something, and they'll just kind of put in the group like, yeah, like I've been thinking of arranging Wagon Wheel or Accidentally in Love. We're like, yeah, awesome. And then they'll arrange it and present it to the group and have a big hand in teaching it to everybody. What do you think, Jet?
Yeah, I think you definitely hit the nail on the head with that one. Like Tattnall said, we always perform a pretty eclectic mix of songs, wide-spanning genres. We've performed country music, and we've also performed Chance the Rapper. So, we definitely have a wide range of all different types of songs. And I think that in terms of choosing them and arranging them, like I said earlier, current or past members arrange all of our music. And I think it's really just about whether people might express interest in arranging. Like Tattnall said, they'll do it, they'll bring it to the group, and we'll do it. And I think, we've had a couple of members who've expressed interest in arranging certain songs. I know I have, so I'm looking to arrange a thing or two and bring it to the group, and then we'll do it. And in terms of deciding songs for events, whenever we have one, we decide where we are in the rehearsal process. Because we only have 2-hour rehearsals a week. We, obviously can't devote as much time as other groups might to getting a whole set done. So we kind of assess what songs are ready, what do we have prepared, what do we want to show. And we just discuss as a group. We write all of our songs down on a chalkboard, move things around, discuss set order, and it's really a collaborative effort.
And sometimes like it just, somebody will arrange a song and they'll like it and we'll like it, and then like in theory, but then as we practice it, we just kind of don't like it or it doesn't fit. Like I know this fall, or this winter actually, somebody arranged a song Superhero. It was going to be like this big beautiful song, but as we worked on it, we just kind of realized that like nobody could really put their finger on it, but we just weren't really getting into it. It didn't really fit with us as a group, and so we just decided like, just because we have a song, we don't need to do it. Like we have other pieces similar to it in our repertoire. Like we're just gonna not cut our losses, but just kind of come to the realization that it wasn't a song that worked with us, and then just part ways and focus on other material.
Right.
That takes a lot to do. I feel like most groups, when they have a song that doesn't seem like it's quite working, they just like keep hammering at it and like try and like maybe eventually perform it even though no one really feels it anymore, and then it's like lackluster. So it's good that you guys can like recognize when your group isn't vibing with a song. And then,
I mean, there were definitely a few too many rehearsals on, I think, where we were just trying to throw like chords and hours and vocal warm-ups at it until it just did something. But we didn't perform it, and kind of after, like the third 2-hour rehearsal where it wasn't like, whatever it was that we needed, we hadn't found that we just kind of spoke. And also nobody in the group arranges a song. That takes a lot of time. And so you don't want to be critical. It was actually the person there who was like, you know what, guys, I'm not really feeling this song. I don't think it's for us. And we kind of just had a conversation about it, realized that it wasn't that, and we just kind of hit the ground running with a different one.
It's good that you guys have that kind of like open communication. I'm starting to send a trend among deviants that they read vibes.
It's all about the vibe. 100%.
All about the vibe.
It's all about the vibe. That should be the motto.
It's all about the vibe. That's 5 words.
There you go. That reminds me too, not it's all about the vibe. That's pretty cool. But the whole thing about having a song and having it not work, I think at the beginning of Pitch Please, like 3 years ago, we spent like an entire quarter on a song at some point, and no one really enjoyed it that much, but we didn't have any other arrangements. And at that point we were just like stuck singing the same song, this like very, very slow song that not many people liked, over and over again. And it was just like the opposite of the good vibes.
Yeah. I think it's not about, the arrangement isn't good enough, or maybe it's too hard and the group isn't good enough. But sometimes it just doesn't click. And, it's, I guess, better to come to that consensus sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think with most people that arrange, like Tattnall says, that takes time and effort. And we have some really talented kids in our group who are really good at arranging music, and we have a lot of fun. And it's really being able to like have people within our own circle be able to produce this for us, so we don't have to go out and look for like other arrangements or decide, do we want to do this, whatever we want to do. So really just having access to that resource is such a blessing. And we have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, for sure. And like, I talk about that as like a long time ago thing that happened. Since that time, we've had other arrangements, even like by the same person who is an amazing arranger. It wasn't his fault. It was just like doing the same song for a quarter, it will take a toll on anyone.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of really good songs since then. It's been really fun. And as you say, like, it's so nice to have people in your group that can do amazing arrangements, because it just makes singing it all the more fun when you know that, like, first of all, you know the person who wrote it. And second of all, you know they did a good job. And third of all, like, there's proof they did a good job because you're singing it and having a good time. So it's like, it's amazing that college kids can do that.
Good, when it sounds so good, it sounds so good.
Yes, when it clicks in and you're like, this is the acapella feeling. This is it right there.
That is the aca feeling.
The aca feeling.
Just got attached an aca to anything, and it's all of a sudden part of the acapella world. All right. That kind of brings us to our last question on this list before we move on to other segments that will be introduced later. If you guys can talk about your favorite acapella moment. This can be social, this can be musical, part of a performance, part of a practice, part of a hangout. Just anything that really stuck out as memorable in your acapella experience so far, and what you feel really encapsulates the vibe of DVAC.
Do you want to go, Tattnall?
Yeah, sure. I can start it off. Well, I mean, I think, actually, no, I am going to go with this one. So fall of my freshman year, we were having a concert, and we were singing a mashup, and it was Feeling It Still and Hey Mr. Postman. It was great. And I had the solo for the Hey Mr. Postman part. You know, for the past month, I've been doing it, you know, fine, and all the practices and everything. I knew the words to the solo, which is important. Yeah, I didn't at the time that I was supposed to. So the song starts going, and I walk out there, you know, there's a few notes of intro. I immediately realize, I'm like, oh shoot, not one word of the song is in my head. Past like, ooh, hey Mr. Postman, like the very beginning part. So I figured like, okay, I'll just we'll see where this takes us. And, you know, I sing the first little bit, and then the first little, like, half chorus that everyone knows, and it just, like, you know, the refresh button hadn't hit, you know, still, like, slow mental connection. I was like, well, like, songs aren't going to stop, so I'm just going to have to wing it. And so I made up the lyrics, to lyrics that kind of sounded like they could go to the song. It went really well. There was one bit towards the end where I rhymed me with like you, like it was very obvious that the lines didn't match, but I realized that if I couldn't just like give it to the people, I'd have to sell it. And so as in my mind, I'm like panicking, like white screen, like nope, nothing, you're on your own. I'm smiling and nodding and rocking along and everything. So people are kind of like, okay, yeah, like he's having fun with it. We should have fun with it. Meanwhile, even on the recording, you can see like two of the girls in the group look at each other, like the girl who had arranged it and one other, because they were some of the only people who realized that is not correct. And then kind of I went away and the next person came on, but I regrouped. I got it together by the time we went along. But I think that
the loading bar finished.
Oh yeah, like way too late, but we got there eventually. I think that encapsulates both my acapella experience as well as just DVAC. Is like just roll with the punches, see where it takes you. Like, just sometimes stuff isn't going to go your way. Sometimes you're going to be too busy. Sometimes the song might not work out. Sometimes you're going to have to be virtual and keep it on there. But as long as you know that the worst case scenario isn't actually that bad. You just want to kind of shoot for the best case scenario you can do. And that's what I kind of realized at that moment. And that's kind of what has at least been my musical guiding philosophy. Like, it's just like, there's no harm that can come to it. You just want to give it your all and see how much it gives you back.
That's such an interesting experience, because I feel like forgetting words to a song happens to lots of people, but to like make up words on the spot and just go for it, and that's a great like way to improvise, adapt, overcome, as they say in the
sick
meme
prov,
world.
Bro. Sick prov.
Yeah, sick prov.
No, I got the choice to sing or not sing, and I chose sing and just decided whatever notes come out. I dug my grave.
I love that you're at the point where you're like, hey, if I believe in what I'm saying to sound true, then the people who are vibing in the audience, they're going to be like, oh yeah, all right, okay, these could be the lyrics, maybe. I've heard the song before, I don't know it that well, but this seems right, this seems cool, funky, fresh.
Totally, just fake it till you make it.
Absolutely, honestly, yeah.
It was really funny. I remember being behind him and thinking, that doesn't rhyme. It was a good time. He did a really good job. I'd say for me, my favorite aca moment, it was only with a couple people in DVAC, but I remember we were walking home from rehearsal, and this was at the end of the previous year, so 2 years ago, or like a year and a half ago. And one of our members, Aaron, was a soloist in Spring Sing, and we were walking home from rehearsal, and they were doing a early ticket sale thing if you went down to the CTO. And I went down with a couple of our members, and we were walking, and they said, let's all go to Spring Sing together. And we got our tickets. We showed up to the show together, and I just remember, seeing one of our members up on that stage and being in the audience with a couple of other members and really just feeling like going all out, like screaming our heads off. Definitely not vocally healthy, but it was worth it. We had a really good time, and it made me feel like, wow, like this is a really supportive and awesome group. And yeah, it was just so cool to see one of our members up there. And then this year I was a duet in Spring Sing, and it was the same support from the rest of my group, like watching the live stream and like cheering me on and showing me just how like loved and supported I was to be a part of this group. And it really like felt like super cohesive and extremely welcoming. It was such an awesome feeling.
I guess the benefit too of Spring Sing is you got to watch it this year too, right? Is that?
Well, yeah. So the day before, we all made our videos and sent them in. So they put together, the show. And the day before it aired live to everybody, just the people who were involved got to see it ahead of time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so like as a group of like performers in Spring Sing, like we all got to watch the show just ourselves. And of course, everybody was like cheering each other on. The chat was going crazy. Everybody was having an awesome time. And then the next day I got to sit down with my family, and we were all in the living room with it on the TV. And like, you know, I got to see it in that way too. So there were a lot of different ways and a lot of different, you know, stimuli coming at me, and it all made me feel awesome. So, but DVAC was a kind of definitely a stepping stone to get there, because it made me feel just like so supported as a group, and definitely like inspired to get there myself.
For our listeners, do you want to say the name of your act, and I'll link it below so people can watch it? Because Spring Sing is great.
Yeah, thank you. I was in a duet with my friend Xander, and we sang a song that I wrote, or I sang a song that I wrote, and he accompanied me on keys, called The River. And I actually just put it on Spotify and Apple Music and all other streaming services, and the music video is up on the Spring Sing YouTube channel, so I can send you all that information. And
Perfect.
Yeah, it's out there.
Jonas, you know,
we'll put that in the description.
You know Xander?
Xander Ambrose?
Yeah, Xander Ambrose.
Yeah, that's like my.
He's got the hair that's like, yeah, bro.
How do you know Xander?
TFT.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the everything about me, TFT.
No, Xander and I were both from Chicago, and he actually knows a lot of people from my high school. But we've never met before UCLA, but we ended up meeting in the fall. And I said, wow, you're like really talented. Do you want to do this song with me? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And then we met over winter break, and we got it together, and then we got in, and it all happened, and it all worked out. Xander's the best.
Xander's such a cool dude.
Awesome.
Hi, Xander. If you're ever going to listen to this episode, you better.
Send him the link.
I will.
I'll tell him.
Everyone tells, if you know Xander and you're listening, tell Xander to listen to this.
We're talking.
Even if he's already seen it, just send him another message. Be like, hey, did you see that episode? Just making sure.
Featuring Xander. We'll put that in the title. All right. Well, Tony.
Everybody, welcome to Music Notes. This is the part of our show where we take a look back at a past performance of the group and talk a little bit about the preparation that went into it, how it felt to perform live, and what it feels like to look back at it now. In this episode, we're going to look at Deviant Voices' cover of 24 Karat Magic and Treasure by Bruno Mars at the 2019 Beat SC Bonfire at UCLA, put on by the Student Alumni Association, featuring soloists Sophie Pavin, Emily Fukuda, and Rachel Coe. Let's check it out.
Put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so playing. Look out! Pop up, it's showtime. Showtime. Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. They don't know. All they know as soon as we walk in. Wearing Cuban links, designer mix, Inglewood's finest shoe. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Known to give the color red the blues. Oh shoot! I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me, they're waking up the rocks. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Not my fault. Y'all be jocking. Keep up. Players only. Come on.
That was so fun. I miss being a person.
I mean, looking at just like the visual of it, I personally didn't have any audio for what we just watched, but I feel like I did, honestly, because seeing how everybody's just jumping up and down, everybody's mouths are like fully wide open. I just, even without being able to hear anything, I could tell, one, that we just sounded incredible, but really I could see that like everybody was just having a lot of fun, producing good music, which is kind of what the whole group is about. And so, I love that recording. That performance was so much fun because there's such a wide variety of, genres and performance styles in, the Beat SC Bonfire. And so it was just fun that like our little niche like these, mix of like multiple different super upbeat Bruno Mars songs.
Well, both me and Jess can testify for you. You guys sounded incredible.
Yes.
Thank you.
Love that.
Having been to the Bonfire before and like seeing groups there and all of that, watching your guys' performance made me wish. I actually had to miss it this year. I forget why, but I wish I had been there this year because that was one of the like better performances I've seen, because it's hard like to perform outside in front of that many people. But you guys killed it. Like, it was so good. And I wish I'd been there live, because the recording is amazing. So I can only imagine that like being there in person would have been, in the words of people who speak English, even more amazinger.
Yep. Could you guys explain maybe a bit about what that event was for people who don't go to UCLA and how you guys got this opportunity?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So there's another school across town.
You might have heard of them.
Right. They're not our favorite. And every year when we play them in football, we have a big bonfire. And it's a big celebration, basically a big pep rally, and they invite performers of all kinds, including a-cappella groups, to come and perform at the Beat SC Bonfire. And they sent out, a media blast saying, email us a video to audition, and we'll select groups and performers. And we knew that they were accepting videos, and so we recorded one, we sent it in, and then we got selected, and it was really awesome. And we had been working on that particular arrangement for since the beginning of the quarter, and it sounded awesome. So we were like, all right, this is a celebratory song. This is fun. It's hype. Let's get into it. And once we got the word that we were accepted, we continued rehearsing it. They came down to make sure we were on track. We of course were. And then the night came. We set it all up. We performed earlier on in the night, but it was such a blast. We got to go up on stage, do a little mic check, and then do the real thing. And it was a big crowd. It was a fun crowd, and it was really awesome.
Yeah, it seems like a really good time. Having seen groups perform on stage there, I will say it must be scary to be a performer, but it also must be really fun, because it is a large portion of the school laid out in front of you, and then the entire marching band sitting behind you. Yep. on the steps, and it's a huge thing. And I don't know if they did one this year because of weather, but usually there's
no actual fire this year.
There's no fire this year?
No.
Generally,
the only fire we got was the Getty.
The only fire we got was your guys' fire performance. But usually there's also a giant, it looks almost like it's made of what are those things? Those pallets that you see in Costco?
Yeah.
Those wooden things. It looks like it's a bunch of those stacked up, I don't know, 30 feet in the air.
Massive. It's massive.
It's gigantic, and it has stuff painted all over it, Beat SC, go Bruins, fire, yay. And then they set it on fire, and when they're putting it out, they have 10 firemen with hoses just running in circles around it, spraying it. And it's a sight to behold. But in a way, it's almost like you guys were the bonfire this year, as I've said, with your fire performance. So there you go.
I mean, it's impossible to not feed off the energy, because in a performance that just one of our kind of normal concerts that we'll have at the end of a quarter, we'll get a good number of people, a few people per member, 3 or 4, maybe 5, depending on how much people kind of get their friends to come out. But this was an event. This was a concert. This was a really big thing. And so I think that definitely kind of added on to how energetic the performance itself was. It's just because there was so much energy at Dixon Plaza.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 1,000 people.
Oh, it was a lot. There was a Ferris wheel there this year.
Well, that's new. That's cool. That just brings it to the next level, literally and figuratively.
Correct.
Totally.
Well, it's amazing to hear about that from you guys. Do you have any, and this is, I know, it's been almost a whole year at this point, but before we move on to our next section, do you guys have any just last thoughts about, I guess what it felt like performing with your group on that stage? I know you said it was like exhilarating because the audience was amazing, but you had a bunch of new members. And was this your first performance with those new members, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
what
I
an
didn't even
introduction.
think about that. Yeah. No, I mean, that definitely set the tone. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I think that's definitely why we're kind of a more musically focused group this year than we have been in the past. Like, everybody really just wants to still have fun, but like we're now really focusing on putting out, you know, a lot of new high quality pieces.
As we said before, oh, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a powerful debut.
Yeah. I was going to say, as we said before on this podcast, there's nothing like a large, higher stakes performance to light a fire under any a cappella group's butt. So
Totally.
it definitely elevates things for sure to have something like that coming up. So it's really cool. Also, you had some freshmen like doing solos too, right? Because Rachel was new, and I don't know, were any of the others new as well?
No, they were veteran members, but yeah, Rachel, she's great. Emily and Sophie, also great. Everybody was awesome, and definitely set the tone for an awesome year. Unfortunately, got cut short, but you know, unavoidable.
Yeah, there's no way around that one.
No one would have thought.
It do be like that sometimes, you know?
They really do.
That'd do.
Well, Tony, shall we
shall
do the thing?
We shall do the thing.
All right.
And that thing is our advertisements. All right, well, we have a game for you all to play, but before we can get into that, we would like to thank our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Pineapple on Pizza, God's gift to man.
And by Pineapple on Pizza, an abomination of unfathomable proportions.
So today's game is called Dominant or Deviant. Jess, would you like to help give us a small explanation, a little TLDR of how it goes down?
Sure, so we're going to state a fact, and you choose whether that fact/statistical group of people is the dominant/majority group of people or the deviant minority group of people in that particular statistic, which will all be fun, weird things, because why would we, you know, it's going to be fun. So if you choose wrong, unfortunately or fortunately for us, because we get to hear you sing, you have to sing a song that we have chosen beforehand, and all of these songs have to do with being deviant, being different, being yourself, and all of that jazz.
Or being undecisive, as I'm noticing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's gonna work. Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna go back and forth between you two, and where it's gonna be like, left-handed, dominant, or deviant, and then you're gonna guess, and then you're gonna get it wrong, and you're gonna sing beautifully.
Yeah, if you were like, oh, being left-handed is dominant because more people are left-handed than right-handed, we'd be like, unfortunately, you have to sing this song now.
But fortunately for us and for our listeners, because we get to hear your eloquent voices. I know, it's a new word, new vocab word that I've thrown into this podcast.
I have yet to hear menagerie today, so I'm excited.
We have not gotten there, but I will find a way to fit it in.
Perfect. Well, shall we start off with
we can figure out what if you guys want to peacefully decide who goes first. We can rock paper scissors. You can fight it out on Zoom. Not sure how that's gonna work. Rock paper scissors has become customary on this podcast, although it is an audio podcast only. So it doesn't really translate well, but I'm down to keep the joke. I'm down to keep it going.
All right, we're gonna do rock paper scissors. Ready?
You guys are gonna go on 3 on shoot, and then say what you have as you throw it out.
Okay.
All right, go on.
Rock,
paper,
scissors.
All right, ready? We're just gonna rock.
One of them should say it.
You're right, Jess. You are now our rock paper scissors champion announcer.
Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors.
Paper.
Let's go.
Would you like to go first or second, my man?
I'll go second.
All right.
That leaves Jet going first. Fantastic. All right. Well, here we go. Jet, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Your question, Jet, my man, is having relative pitch, is it dominant or deviant?
It would really help if I knew what relative pitch was.
Cool. Jess.
Oh, no, wait, it's fine. I'll guess.
I mean, we can explain what relative pitch is.
It's just
you
like
want.
being like you don't have perfect pitch, but like you can match pitch and you can hear the difference between pitches and all that.
Like
Gotcha.
intervals.
Yeah, and you can sing them back.
I'd hope it would be dominant, but like, you never. This is actually really hard.
Take your best guess.
I'm gonna say dominant.
Well, you would be correct.
Okay, good.
Relative pitch is considered dominant because it is something that everybody can pick up if they try hard enough at it. It can be a learned skill, and sometimes it just happens just through the process of listening to things in your life. But yes, people can train in it. Relative pitch, because of its ability to be learned by everyone, and the fact that people pick it up kind of just on their own, we have labeled it as dominant. So you survive for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means
That's
Tattnall.
my mercy.
Tattnall, it is your question now. Are you ready?
Hit me with it.
So we've got people who like pineapple on pizza in the United States. Dominant or deviant?
Deviant.
That's correct.
Let's go. Thank God.
12% of people in the United States would choose pineapple as one of their top 3 toppings.
Top 3.
12% of people.
12%?
Yes. So it is deviant.
I like that. That's a good statistic.
It is a good statistic.
That is a good
I was
statistic.
surprised that it was like just there online.
That's shocking to me.
Tony.
All right, Jet. Here we are. You're second. You're doing pretty good so far. I believe in you. So, the amount of people who like pineapple on pizza in Britain, is it dominant or deviant?
Man, there's some kooky people over there, but I guess everywhere. They like their interesting cuisine. I'd say like beans on toast. I'm gonna say, ooh, you might be tricking me here. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's deviant also.
Then I guess my psychology trickery has worked because it is dominant. There is a 53% people who enjoy pineapple on pizza in Britain, according to some sources that we have found.
Some sources that we have found.
That's crazy. What?
Can we take a poll in the call itself? I'm not. Okay. Not.
Yeah,
I'm not against.
Big no on pineapple on pizza.
I'm
I
not
like
against.
it. Yeah, I'm
can be good.
for it.
If it's there, I'll eat it.
All right.
I mean, I'll eat anything. I wouldn't order it, but I'll eat it.
Fair.
I'm kind of in the same boat there. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to get it, but I do really like it when it's there.
It's not my top 3 for sure. Oh my God, that really threw me.
All right. Well, Jess, what song does our friend Jet here have to sing?
The song you have to sing is "You Belong With Me" by Taylor Swift. Chosen for the nature of "I'm different" type lyrics.
All right, let me get into like the mood.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. Take your time.
She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers, thinking about the day when you wake up and find out what you're looking for has been here the whole time. As you can see that I'm the one who understands. You've been here all along, so why can't you see you belong with me?
I would usually stop people earlier, but that sounded really good, so I was like, he can keep going, it's fine.
That was beautiful.
Thanks, I had to fill out the chorus.
What a great number by our friend Swift.
The T-Swizzle.
That one.
The T-Swift. The Swifter.
I was about to be like McSwifty, and I was like, that's not her last name. Oh, lordy. Okay. Tattnall, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. In America, having at least one person in the household that plays an instrument, dominant or deviant?
Does the voice count as an instrument? Like singing?
I don't think in this case it does.
No, it's too bad, but I'm going to have to say deviant.
Well, it turns out
I hope I'm wrong.
that It is dominant, 54%.
Oh,
Hey, cheers. All right, good for us. Good for the U.S.
That's
A lot
on
of
the-
musicians out there.
There you
That's
go.
on the music education in music education in our education systems. Good
There
on
you
them.
go.
Good for us.
Granted, that statistic probably means some of them are just people who picked up the recorder.
It's an instrument technically, by the loosest definition.
If you can throw down a hot cross buns, you're a musician.
If you
so
can throw
I'm not
down a
worried
hot
about it.
cross buns, you a musician, baby.
That has to go on our
Sure.
website. We have to put that as a quote. If you can throw down a hot cross buns, you're a musician, baby. All right. Well,
So,
you did unfortunately get it wrong, which means, Tony, what
do
song
that.
does our friend Tattnall have to sing today?
You have to sing hot and cold.
oh,
Parentheses, yes and no, in,
All
out, up, down. You know the one.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's see if I can follow up Jet here. Cause you're hot and you're cold, you're yes and you no, you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down, wrong when it's right, it's black when it's white, we kiss, we break up, we kiss, we make up.
yeah.
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 There you go.
Staying on
Usual, I
brand,
think I
making
might
up
have-
some of the lyrics.
Yeah, switch some of those around, but that's on brand now, so what are
It's
you
on
gonna do?
brand.
Hey, we got to experience it firsthand. It sounded amazing, no matter what the lyrics were.
Well, I'll do that one too.
Hold it off.
All right. Well, both of you are 1-1, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Jet, we got this. You got this next one. I'm not playing games with you. You ready?
I am ready.
We're a team. Together? Look at me. We're a team. We got this.
Absolutely.
All right. Your question, or your thing to decipher whether dominant or deviant, are smartphone users in America who use iPhones dominant or deviant?
That's got to be dominant.
There are other companies out there, and unfortunately, they total up to be a little bit more than iPhone users. Only 45.1% of American smartphone users have iPhones. Ain't that crazy? We almost named a generation after them. Wild. So unfortunately, iPhones technically are the deviant.
I guess I have to sing again.
You get to sing again. Jess, what song is that?
We got Creep by Radiohead.
Okay. Cause I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Beautiful.
What a pretty song.
Wow. Incredible. You have done so good.
So much good singing. All right. I don't know if that was like Italian or what, but I was hoping for it to be something and it was not. But next time I'll try harder. So the next question for you guys, or for Tattnall specifically, is
Oops.
forgot we did this one. All right. People who get a case of the Mondays every Monday, dominant or deviant?
Okay, so just let me make sure I got this. So just people who are cranky every Monday.
Yes.
People who get a case of the Mondays every
Yes.
Monday.
Every
This
Monday.
is an actual statistic that you can find.
Yeah.
Dominant. Easy dominant.
That's correct. It is
Thank God,
79% of people, according to this random website that has this particular statistic on it.
I was going to say 80. I was like, show me somebody that every Monday is ready to go and happy, and I will show you a psychopath. I don't trust it. I do not trust it.
Yeah, there you go. Good, what do you call it? Deductive reasoning? Is that what you'd call it?
I would
Yeah.
say it. Some
Deducing things?
good sleuthing, maybe.
Sleuthing, that's a good one. A menagerie of methods to find the answer.
We have a menagerie of methods. There it comes in.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, man. Tony, go for it.
Jet, we're going to bring it back with this one. All right. Dominant or deviant? Co-ed a cappella groups as compared to single gender identifying groups. So we're saying Co-ed a cappella groups are either dominant or deviant in comparison to single gender identifying groups. So all male, all female, all others.
They're dominant.
They are indeed dominant. Co-ed a cappella groups are 72%.
Woot woot.
Which ties up the score.
Yes, it is now 2-2. So, Tattnall, if you can get this last one right, then you can take it all. But if not, then you tie, which is still okay. All right, here we go. People who have been on an airplane, dominant or deviant?
This is worldwide.
Yes.
Deviant. Definitely.
That's correct. 20% of people have been on an airplane, which means, Tattnall, you have won Dominant or Deviant, our very special Deviant Voices themed game.
What are you going to do now?
Hold this over Jet for a long, long time is what I'm going to do now.
It is ironic that the last question you answered had kind of a thing to do with the Jets.
I might even, that's definitely going to be like a group me name change or something like that.
Champion of Dominant or Deviant?
More dominant than Jet.
Oh no. Well, you did win this game.
I mean, the Jet's more deviant.
Oh,
so.
Almost dropped a thing. We're good.
All right, well, that was Dominant or Deviant. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Jet, my condolences.
Okay. Yes.
Well, we are just about nearing the end of the podcast, and so this is just a small time that we give to you guys to go ahead and promote anything that you guys are doing personally with your brand or what your group is doing. Any shout outs that you want to give, members of the group, if you want to shout them out. If you guys have things coming up in your group, we would absolutely love to hear all about it. And this would be just a free place to promo. So promote yourself now.
All right. Well, first off, shout out to Sophie Pavin. She's doing a killer job at editing some of our quarantine recordings that will be out soon. We're so excited to share those with everybody. We have already recorded Accidentally in Love and Electric Love. So those will be coming out soon. You can look out for that. We are also having our remote auditions. More information will be out on that soon. And once we get our new cohort, we're going to do some socially distant quarantine recordings of new arrangements, which is going to sound killer.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally am not working on anything. The group is, nothing yet. Just, if you're listening as a potential UCLA Bruin acapellist, then definitely check us out and audition. I want to give a quick shout out to Emily Fukuda, just because she's, president. She's doing a lot to just kind of keep us on track, me especially. So that's good. Oh, and also Simon is our treasurer. He was a freshman who hadn't even been in the group for, half a year, and he was already on our exec board. So that was pretty impressive. So I just, if you're listening, shout out Simon, you're doing great. But yeah, I mean, we were all at Deviant definitely excited to see, how we overcome the challenges that quarantine and social distancing are posing upon us and the entire acapella community. But I mean, past that, we're just going to keep having our social Zooms, have some productive, voice recordings as well. And, I'm just excited to see how the acapella community adapts and improvises to, this upcoming year.
Awesome. Are there any social media pages that you guys would like to give either the username or wherever they can find you on top of the information you've already given?
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at UCLA Deviant Voices. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also find us on the UCLA Acapella page and on our own website. And yeah, follow us on Instagram for the most up-to-date information.
Perfect. And I'll have that all linked below, as well as your Spring Sing performance. which I want people to be able to see.
Stream The River by me featuring Xander Ambrose on Apple Music, Spotify, and everywhere else today.
Yeah, and that actually, what you said about the acapella website reminds me, there's a new acapella website, for those of you who don't know, at UCLA. It's called UCLA Acapella Guide, and it's a Weebly, I believe. I don't know. I'll put the link below so you can check that out too. It's got all the acapella groups, including Deviant. So take a look, peruse, look at the stuff, and do the thing. Yep.
You got it. All right, well, thank you both so much for being a part of this podcast. It's been great to talk to you guys, get to know what's Deviant up to, what they have been up to, listening to some great music, playing some fun games, and just getting to know you guys better. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a blast. I love it.
It's been awesome having you guys here.
All right. We would also like to thank our receptionist, Holden, please, for taking all of our calls that we are just simply too busy to take.
Thank you to Pineapple Pizza for taking that flack earlier. I promise I still love you.
Well, I guess that makes you a deviant.
Me and you both, pal, but only in the United States.
And of course, our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Join us again next time for some more exciting acapella insight.
This has been Tiger on the Block. Remember to treat those vocal cords right.
Try out that riff you always wanted to try.
And chug a ton of honey. This is the end.